you just walked out. Now, how hard was it to get out of that abusive and dangerous relationship?
Well, it was very difficult and dangerous because Ike was a violent person.
One of the greatest singers of all time, Tina Turner, died on May 24th, 2023, at the age of 83. For 2 years, her husband, Erwin Bach, said nothing. Not to the press, not to the fans. While the world mourned the loss of Tina Turner, Erwin Bach, the man who loved her most, stayed silent. But now, he's finally ready to speak, and what he shares will break your heart, and heal it too. Tina Turner was born as Anna Mae Bullock on November 26, 1939, in a small town called Brownsville, Tennessee. She was the youngest daughter in her family. Her father, Floyd, worked on a farm called Poindexter Farm, where he was in charge of the workers. The family lived in a quiet rural area called Nutbush. As a little girl, Anna Mae loved music and acting. She would often sing on the streets to earn some coins so she could go watch movies. She also sang in the church choir at the local Baptist church in Nutbush. When she was just 11 years old, her mother, Zelma, suddenly left the family. She had been in an abusive marriage and decided to move to St. Louis to find a new life. 2 years later, Anna Mae's father remarried and moved to Detroit. He didn't take the children with him. Instead, Anna Mae and her sisters went to live with their grandmother, Georgiana, in Brownsville. While she was still living in Brownsville, Tina Turner, then known as Anna Mae, fell in love for the first time with a boy named Harry Taylor. They met at a high school basketball game. Harry went to a different school at first, but he moved to be closer to her. In an interview years later, Tina said Harry was very popular and had many girlfriends, but she eventually won his heart, and they dated seriously for about a year. Sadly, their relationship ended when she found out that Harry had secretly married another girl who was having his baby. When Anna Mae was 16, her grandmother passed away. After that, she moved to St. Louis to live with her mother. She finished high school at Sumner High School and graduated in 1958. After graduating, she worked as a nurse's aide at Barnes Jewish Hospital. During this time, she and her sister began going out to nightclubs in St. Louis and nearby East St. Louis. One night, she saw a performance by Ike Turner and his band, the Kings of Rhythm, at Club Manhattan. She was blown away by his talent. Watching him perform made her feel like she was in a trance. Anna Mae asked Ike if she could sing in his band. At that time, not many women were allowed to perform with him, and though he said he'd call her, he never did. Then, one night in 1956, during a break between songs, Anna Mae grabbed the microphone from the drummer, Eugene Washington, and started singing a blues song by B.B. King called "You Know I Love You." Her voice caught Ike's attention immediately. He was so impressed that he asked if she knew more songs. She ended up singing for the rest of the night, and that's how she became a singer in his band. From then on, Ike helped train her voice and stage presence. He taught her how to control her singing and how to perform like a pro. In 1958, she made her very first recording under the name Little Ann on a song called Box Top. Tina Turner and her sister Aline started spending more time with Ike Turner's band. Aline was dating the band's drummer, Eugene Washington, and Tina began dating the saxophone player, Raymond Hill. While Tina was still in her final year of high school, she got pregnant. She moved in with Raymond, who was living at Ike Turner's house at the time. Tina later said she didn't love Raymond the way she had loved her first boyfriend, Harry, but she thought Raymond was handsome and believed their baby would be beautiful. Their relationship didn't last long. Raymond left and went back to his hometown of Clarksdale. Their son, Craig, was born in August 1958. Tina was left to raise him on her own as a single mother. At first, Tina and Ike had more of a close friendship. She once described it as feeling like a bond between brother and sister from another life. From the time they met in 1956 up until 1960, there was nothing romantic between them. That changed later, even though Ike was already living with his girlfriend, Lorraine Taylor. According to Tina, things turned intimate after another man in the band tried to enter her room, and she chose to sleep near Ike for safety. In 1960, Ike wrote a song called "A Fool in Love" for another singer, Art Lassiter. Tina was just supposed to sing in the background with Lassiter's backup singers. But on the day of the recording, Lassiter didn't show up to the studio. Ike had already paid for the session. So Tina offered to sing the lead vocals instead. He agreed, thinking it would just be a placeholder. He planned to remove her voice and add Art's vocals later. but things didn't go that way. A local radio DJ named Dave Dixon heard the track and told Ike to send it to Juggy Murray, the president of Sue Records. When Juggy heard Tina's voice, he was blown away. He later said, "Tina sounded like screaming dirt," which meant her voice was raw, powerful, and full of emotion. Juggy decided to buy the song. He gave Ike Turner a $25,000 advance for the rights to the recording and the song's publishing. That moment marked the beginning of Tina Turner's rise in music. Anna Bullock was introduced to the world in July 1960 with the song "A Fool in Love." That's when she officially began using the name Tina Turner, given to her by Ike. The song became a big hit, reaching number 2 on the R&B charts and number 27 on the pop charts. A well-known music writer later said the song was one of the boldest and most soulful records to break into the mainstream charts since Ray Charles's What Did I Say? In 1961, Tina and Ike released another hit, It's Gonna Work Out Fine. It reached number 14 on the pop charts and number 2 on the R&B charts. The song even got them a Grammy nomination for Best Rock and Roll Performance. Over the next couple of years, they released more R&B hits like I Idolize You, Poor Fool, and Tra-La-La-La-La. But behind the music, Tina's personal life was full of pain. Right after they recorded A Fool in Love, Tina, who was pregnant at the time, told Ike she didn't want to continue their romantic relationship. Instead of listening, Ike reacted with violence. He hit her in the head with a wooden shoe stretcher. Tina later said this was the first time she truly felt afraid of him. Even so, she stayed, saying she cared about him deeply. Their son, Ronnie, was born in October 1960. In 1962, the family moved to Los Angeles and got married in Tijuana, Mexico. In her autobiography, I, Tina, she later revealed that their marriage was filled with violence and heartbreak. Ike often cheated on her and was physically abusive. It became too much for her. In 1968, she tried to take her own life by swallowing a bottle of Valium pills. Tina later said, "It was my relationship with Ike that made me most unhappy. At first, I had really been in love with him. He had done so much for me, but he became completely unpredictable." Years later, it was discovered that Ike had bipolar disorder, which may have explained some of his behavior. In the fall of 1969, Ike and Tina Turner's fame in the United States started to grow. One big reason was that they were chosen to open for the Rolling Stones on their US tour. This gave them a lot of attention and new fans. They also appeared on popular TV shows like The Ed Sullivan Show, Playboy After Dark, and The Andy Williams Show, which helped even more people get to know them. In 1970, they released 2 albums, Come Together and Workin' Together. One of the songs they covered, I Wanna Take You Higher, became a hit. It even did better on the charts than the original version by Sly and the Family Stone. These albums marked a big change in their style. Instead of just rhythm and blues, they started to sing more rock songs like Come Together, Honky Tonk Woman, and Get Back. Then in 1971, they made their biggest hit yet. Their cover of Proud Mary, originally by Creedence Clearwater Revival, became a huge success. It climbed all the way to number 4 on the charts and sold over 1 million copies. That song also won them a Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by a duo or group. In July of that year, they released a live album called What You Hear Is What You Get. It became their first album to go gold. In 1972, Ike and Tina built their own recording studio, Bollock Sound, near their home in Inglewood, California. That same year, their music label changed hands, and they ended up signed to United Artists Records. Around this time, Tina also started writing more songs herself. In fact, she wrote 9 of the 10 songs on their 1972 album Feel Good. In 1973, Ike and Tina Turner released a new hit song called Nutbush City Limits. Tina wrote the song herself, and it was inspired by her hometown, Nutbush, Tennessee. The track became a major success, reaching number 22 on the US pop charts and number 11 on the R&B chart. Overseas, it was even bigger. It hit number 1 in Austria, number 4 in the UK, and made the top 5 in several other countries. In the UK alone, the song sold over 250,000 copies and was awarded a silver certification. Because of the song's popularity in Europe, Ike and Tina received the first ever Golden European Record Award for selling over 1 million copies of Nutbush City Limits across the continent. That same year, they released a gospel album titled The Gospel According to Ike and Tina. It was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Soul Gospel Performance. Meanwhile, Tina was starting to make her own mark as a solo artist. Her first solo album, Tina Turns the Country On, earned her a Grammy nomination for Best R&B Vocal Performance, Female. That year, she also traveled to London to film the rock opera Tommy, where she played a dramatic and wild role called the Acid Queen, a drug-addicted prostitute. Then in 1975, after the movie Tommy was released, Tina put out another solo album called Acid Queen. It reached number 39 on the Billboard R&B chart. By the mid-1970s, things between Ike and Tina Turner had gotten worse. Ike had become deeply addicted to cocaine, and it made their relationship even more toxic. On July 1st, 1976, while they were on their way to a hotel in Dallas, the Statler Hilton, they got into a serious fight. Tina couldn't take it anymore. She suddenly left him that night. She ran away with almost nothing, just 36 cents and a mobile gas card in her pocket. She crossed the highway and found safety at a nearby Ramada Inn. A few weeks later, on July 27th, Tina officially filed for divorce. In the divorce papers, Tina asked for $4,000 a month in alimony, $1,000 a month for child support, and custody of her two sons, Craig and Ronnie. After a long and difficult process, their divorce was finalized on March 29, 1978. When everything was settled, Tina agreed to take on a lot of the financial burden. She accepted responsibility for missing concert dates and even agreed to pay an IRS debt. But she was allowed to keep the royalties for the songs she had written. Ike kept the rights to his own songs, as well as to the songs she had written during their time together. Tina walked away with her name. She kept the stage name Tina Turner. She also kept her two Jaguar cars, her jewelry, fur coats, and her dignity. But she gave up her share of their Bollock Sound recording studio, the publishing companies, and their real estate. Even though Tina was free, starting over wasn't easy. Many concert promoters had lost money because of canceled shows during their breakup, and some sued to get that money back. For nearly 2 years, Tina lived with very little. She used food stamps and performed in small clubs just to pay off debts and survive. Later on, Ike claimed that he was never really married to Tina in the legal sense because he was already married to someone else when they had their ceremony. Still, the law recognized their common law marriage, so they had to go through a full divorce. Ike also made confusing claims about Tina's real name. He said she was actually named Martha Nell Bullock, not Anna Mae Bullock. In fact, Tina signed several contracts using the name Martha Nell Turner. In his book, Taking Back My Name, Ike Turner admitted that he had hurt Tina during their relationship. He said, "Sure, I've slapped Tina. We had fights, and there were times I punched her to the ground without thinking, but I never beat her." Years later, in 1999, when he appeared on The Roseanne Show, the host Roseanne Barr pushed him to apologize to Tina on live TV. However, in a 2007 interview with Jet Magazine, Ike said he still loved Tina and had written her a letter to say sorry for everything he had put her and the children through, but he never sent it. When Ike died on December 12, 2007, Tina didn't say much. Through her spokesperson, she simply said, "Tina hasn't had any contact with Ike in more than 30 years. No further comment will be made." Tina's sister Aline still saw Ike as family and even went to his funeral. During the service, music producer Phil Spector gave a speech where he criticized Tina for how she had spoken about Ike over the years. In 2018, Tina shared her feelings with the Sunday Times. She said, "As an old person, I have forgiven him, but I would not work with him. He asked for one more tour with me, and I said, no, absolutely not." After leaving Ike, Tina's career went through a long, quiet period. Until 1983, many people saw her as someone who performed old hits in hotel ballrooms and small clubs across the US. But that was about to change. In 1983, while performing at the Ritz in New York City, Tina caught the attention of Capitol Records. She signed a new record deal. In November of that year, she released a cover of Al Green's song, "Let's Stay Together." The song became a hit, especially in Europe, where it reached number 6 on the UK charts. In the US, it reached number 26 on the Billboard Hot 100, climbed to number 1 on the Dance Club Songs chart, and hit number 3 on the Hot Black Singles chart. It was a powerful comeback, and the world was starting to pay attention to Tina Turner once again. After her hit song, Capitol Records agreed to let her record a full album. She had just 2 weeks to get it done. The result was Private Dancer, released in May 1984. The album became a massive success. It reached number 3 on the US Billboard 200 chart and climbed to number 2 in the UK. In America, it was certified 5 times platinum. Around the world, Private Dancer sold more than 10 million copies, making it the biggest album of Tina's career. On September 1st, 1984, a song from the album, What's Love Got to Do With It, hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It became the biggest hit of her life. 2 more songs from the album, Better Be Good to Me and Private Dancer, also landed in the US Top 10. Tina's big comeback was complete when she won 3 Grammy Awards in early 1985. One of them was Record of the Year for What's Love Got to Do With It. After all the struggles she had faced, Tina Turner was finally being celebrated for her talent on the world stage. And then, just as things were turning around in her career, something unexpected happened in her personal life. She met the love of her life. It was July 1985. Tina had just landed at the airport in Dusseldorf, Germany. EMI Records had sent one of their young executives, a 30-year-old man named Erwin Bach, to pick her up and drive her to Cologne for a TV appearance. Tina, who was 45 at the time, saw Erwin walking toward her and felt something instantly. Later, she told Oprah Winfrey it was love at first sight. That same night, Tina invited Erwin to dinner. By the fall, the two were quietly dating. Despite the 16-year age difference and Tina's busy touring schedule, they kept their new relationship private. Over the next few years, Erwin Bach became a regular presence in Tina Turner's life, especially behind the scenes. While Tina was busy promoting her albums Break Every Rule and Foreign Affair, Erwin was always close by, bringing her flowers, herbal tea, and quiet support. He didn't try to take over her career or tell her what to do. He simply let her be herself. For Tina, who had escaped years of control and abuse with Ike Turner, that kind of freedom in a relationship felt new. While Tina was touring the world, Erwin was building his own career. He kept moving up in the music business, working at EMI and traveling back and forth between Germany and the UK. In 1986, Tina released her 6th solo album, Break Every Rule. It became a huge hit. The album went to number 1 in 4 different countries and sold over 5 million copies in its first year. In both the United States and Germany, it sold over 1 million copies. The album included hit songs like Typical Male, Two People, What You Get Is What You See, and Back Where You Started, which won a Grammy Award. That same year, Tina received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In January 1988, Tina performed in front of 180,000 people at Maracana Stadium in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It was the largest crowd ever to attend a paid concert by a solo artist at the time, a Guinness World Record. Later that year, she released Tina Live in Europe, a live album that won her another Grammy Award for Best Female Rock Vocal Performance. After some much-needed rest following the tour, Tina came back strong with her next album, Foreign Affair, in 1989. It hit number 1 in 8 countries, including the UK, where it went 5x platinum and became her first number 1 album there. The album sold over 6 million copies around the world and included one of her most famous songs ever, The Best. In 1990, Tina Turner went on her Foreign Affair European tour. It became a massive success, drawing nearly 4 million fans. That broke the record for the biggest European tour ever, one that had previously been held by the Rolling Stones. A few years later, in 1995, Tina and her partner Erwin Bach made a big move. They left the fast pace of celebrity life behind and settled in Küsnacht, a peaceful, wealthy village on the edge of Lake Zurich in Switzerland. There, they bought a beautiful home called Chateau Algonquin. It had turrets and looked like something out of a fairy tale. That would become their main home for many years. Tina said Switzerland gave her a sense of calm and peace. It also allowed Erwin to be close to his work. He later became the head of EMI's Swiss office, then moved into consulting. Even though they shared a deep love, Tina and Erwin kept separate bank accounts. Tina believed strongly in being financially independent. Still, they shared many routines and joys: peaceful morning walks, collecting art, and quiet moments together. In 1999, just before her 60th birthday, Tina released a new single called When the Heartache Is Over. It was a dance track and served as the lead song from her 10th and final solo album, 24/7. The song became a hit, and the success of the tour that followed helped the album earn gold certification in the US. That tour, the 24/7 tour, became the highest-grossing tour of the year 2000, bringing in over $120 million. Tina wasn't done yet. In November 2004, she released All the Best, a greatest hits album. It reached number 2 on the Billboard 200 in 2005, making it her highest-charting album in the US. It went platinum just 3 months later and achieved platinum status in 7 other countries, including the UK. Then, in December 2005, Tina received one of the highest honors in American entertainment. She was celebrated at the Kennedy Center Honors in Washington, D.C., joining a group of the most respected performers in the world. In February 2008, Tina Turner made a big return to the stage. After years away from the spotlight, she appeared at the Grammy Awards and performed with Beyoncé. That same night, she also won a Grammy Award as a featured artist on the album River, The Joni Letters. Later that year, in October, Tina kicked off her first tour in almost 10 years. It was called the Tina 50th Anniversary Tour, celebrating 5 decades of her music career. The shows were a massive success. The tour became one of the highest-grossing tours in music history. Then, in 2009, after giving fans one final unforgettable run, Tina officially retired from performing. After living in Switzerland for almost 20 years, Tina made a life-changing decision. In 2013, she officially gave up her US citizenship and became a Swiss citizen. She said she had no plans to move back to America. Then, on July 4th, 2013, she and Erwin Bach made their love official. They quietly got married in a small civil ceremony in Küsnacht with only a few close friends as witnesses. 17 days later, they celebrated in a much bigger way, with a beautiful garden party by the lake. It was a Buddhist-themed ceremony with 120 guests. Famous friends like Oprah Winfrey, David Bowie, Sade, and Giorgio Armani were there. In a moment captured on camera, Erwin said this about Tina: "She is not old, not young, not black, not white. She's the woman that I love." Just weeks after her beautiful wedding celebration, Tina Turner faced a terrible health scare. She had a sudden stroke. Her husband, Erwin Bach, quickly stepped in to help. He turned one of their music rooms into a home gym for physical therapy, added stair lifts to their house, and stayed by her side through every step of her recovery. With his help, Tina slowly regained her strength, eventually learning to walk and even dance again. But more challenges were ahead. In 2016, Tina was diagnosed with intestinal cancer. She first tried using natural treatments, but they didn't work. Her kidneys began to fail. Knowing she might not have long, Tina quietly signed up with Exit, Switzerland's assisted death organization, in case things became unbearable. Erwin wouldn't accept that. He offered her one of his own kidneys. Tina wasn't sure at first. She didn't want to take such a big risk with someone she loved, but eventually she agreed. The transplant surgery took place on April 7, 2017, at Zurich University Hospital. The recovery was painful. Tina battled sleepless nights, constant nausea, and scary moments when her body seemed to reject the new kidney. But through it all, Erwin stayed by her side, carefully managing her medications and keeping the press away. Tina later wrote that when she woke up from surgery, Erwin was looking at her as if I were a miracle. She called his sacrifice the ultimate proof that love asks for nothing and gives everything. In 2018, she was honored with the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Then, in 2020, Tina surprised everyone by stepping out of retirement. She worked with Norwegian DJ Kygo on a remix of her classic hit What's Love Got to Do With It. The song hit the UK Top 40, making Tina the first artist to have Top 40 hits in 7 different decades. After the musical's Broadway debut in late 2019, Tina began to step away from public life. Still, neighbors in their village would often see her and Erwin walking by the lake early in the morning. Erwin even bought a smaller weekend home in nearby Staffa so they could enjoy quiet getaways. During the pandemic, they stayed home reading, gardening, and watching old movies together. In 2021, Tina sold the rights to her music catalog to BMG Rights Management in a deal worth around $50 million. Warner Music remained in charge of distributing her songs. Just weeks after that, Tina received one of the highest honors in music, She was officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist. She accepted the award through a video message from her peaceful home in Switzerland. In Tina Turner's later years, Erwin Bach quietly became her protector and closest supporter. When filmmakers Dan Lindsay and TJ Martin made the 21 HBO documentary Tina, Erwin gave his longest interview ever. He spoke openly about how Tina still had nightmares from her painful past, comparing it to the kind of trauma soldiers carry home from war. Their peaceful life in Switzerland helped her rest, and Erwin made sure she stayed surrounded by calm. He also took care of her business, handling her music rights and helping with donations of special items. By late 2022, Tina's health had worsened. Her kidney function was fragile again, and she needed dialysis treatments. Erwin canceled his travel plans so he could stay by her side in Küsnacht. He arranged for nurses to care for her at home and limited visitors to make sure she stayed peaceful. On May 24th, 23, while soft spring rain fell outside their home, Tina passed away peacefully after a long illness. Erwin was holding her hand. The next day, photos showed him quietly opening the gates of their estate to accept flowers and messages from grieving fans. He said nothing to the reporters outside. All around the world, people honored Tina's memory, but many also recognized Erwin's quiet devotion. Beyoncé thanked him for giving the Queen the space to fly. The president of Switzerland, Alain Berset, praised Tina and Erwin for choosing his country as their peaceful home. Now 69 years old, Erwin hasn't spoken publicly since. What do you think about Tina Turner's life? Let us know in the comments section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our next video for more contents.